introduce Dr. Dorit, Chief Product Officer at Checkpoint. She manages product definition, development functions for enterprise and consumer divisions of the company. She is in charge of research and quality assurance initiatives from concept to delivery.
Thank you very much. Very happy to be here. I'll say that I play along with the kind of women events, but most of my career, I actually didn't feel special treatment being a woman, or didn't even think it was a big issue. Actually, I always thought that being a woman is an advantage because people remember you, you'd stand out in an audience, everybody is men and you are the only woman, more people would remember you, so there is a big opportunity in being that. Over the years, I realized that there are some more structural challenges in the industry, and these days I'm trying to help women in technology and managerial positions. We have some networking and coaching and activities in Checkpoint. I also take part of in the board of an organization called She Codes that try to drive developers to code. So overall, I think we have a lot to do in the industry on this kind of women stuff. Today, I came to kind of open the discussion on ransomware, but also with a kind of a view on a nation state and supply chain attacks that we've seen in the world recently. And in my responsibility, I manage the R&D for Checkpoint, but also part of the R&D is the research team, the cyber research team. And part of my responsibility is the product portfolio for customers. So I meet a lot of customers and we try to help them, hopefully before the attack, but sometimes, unfortunately, after the attack. I came to realize the importance of the issue. And I must say that during the past year, from 2020, the world really became crazy. So ransomware attacks surged globally, with nearly doubled in the year-over-year numbers. North America experiences a 32% increase in 2021. The numbers are really very, very high. There are over 1,200 organizations that are impacted weekly. And we hear about it all the time. I think one of the indications that we hear about it all the time is that it's in the news and people talk about it, and it's not just such a big deal. I got hit, he got hit, she got hit. And we should be, I think, more secure and more safe, and we should expect to have more security. As Checkpoint, we're trying to keep the world safe. Our mission is prevention, security in terms of prevention. This is not going to be a presentation on Checkpoint, but I just wanted to mention that the sources of my presentation are around the cyber threat intelligence that we collect as part of building security products. So we have a CPR team, which is the Checkpoint research team, and we have a collection of many, many sensors, all our gateways, endpoint consumers, email security, they all report back. So we have this threat cloud that holds all the threat intelligence of the world. And on top of that, we have people, analysts, researchers, reverser. They all look at the data and try to understand what to do about it. And when we look at the picture of 2020 and 2021, it really looks amazing. So something that was really impacted at the beginning by the COVID situation, with a lot of attacks coming around leveraging websites and mobile tools that came around the COVID attacks, then turned around into ransomware related attacks on healthcare organization and on other ways to extract money in this hard situation of the world. And all of the sudden transitioned more into nation state attacks. Most evident is SolarWinds and the Sunburst attack, that is a supply chain and a nation state attack. And then emerged into more supply chain state nation attacks, and in more state nation or financial attacks, such as attacking the Microsoft Exchange server, and continuing into more supply chain with Kadkov and then with the impressive attack on Kaseya in 4th of July. So really an amazing landscape that calls into what do we do about ransomware. And before I talk about what do we do about ransomware, I wanted to talk a bit about the evolution of ransomware in the world. So ransomware didn't start as this big hit originally. It started as a way to extract financial gains from an attacking service. So there was private to public evolution, and it moved from attacking private people to attacking the public and companies, cooperation, and to go through supply chain attack to do massive ransomware attack and to gain massive financial numbers. We will talk about it. The other motivation of ransomware is about data theft and espionage. So we will talk about the different types of ransomware, but in some cases, what you really want to do is not to encrypt the data and get money, but to actually steal the data or do espionage on the data. Sometimes you want to scare people, like cyber terror or political influence that would just scare people from doing stuff. And some people, you could call it financial, but they kind of trade weapons. So they do ransomware as a service and they sell it to other people to operate the ransom. And they feel like they are clean because all they do is kind of a service and they don't operate the ransomware themselves. And we would see examples like this in the rest of the presentation. So the attack sophistication really increased a lot. And from 2013, with the classical first attacks of ransomware, where it started from hundreds of dollars and moved to hundreds of thousands of dollars, into the 2017 WannaCry and NotPetya, where some of this was ransomware and some of this was wiper, and moving into more sophisticated ways to extract money. So double extortion is really what we mean by saying, not only I encrypted your data, but also I stole your data and I'm threatening to leak it. So if you don't pay, it's not just that you don't get the data that you have, I'll also leak it and you'd lose the data and you'd be in a bad situation. Triple extortion is when I don't only I steal your data and threaten you from encrypting your data, I also approach the users of the data, the owners of the data, like your users or your passionate, your patients, and the other people whose data is there. And I'll tell them, if you don't help me with the company or you don't pay me directly, I leak your data because I stole it from the other guy. And over the years, the actual impact of this was that the numbers grew from hundreds of dollars into millions of dollars and 10 millions of dollars. And we see payments at the order of magnitude of $40 million that are really being significant. So the first, so now the rest of the presentation, I'll go through some 3 examples and a bit analyze them to maybe hot the panel that comes after me. So the first, most recent one is Kaseya, where over 1,000 organizations were globally attacked in a very big supply chain. Why there was supply chain? In order to amplify the attack here. So you did the supply chain, you reached many, many points, and you did ransomware in all these points. So the motivation is financial and data theft. The attack is associated with a Russian group called REvil, known for multiple tools that they have. But you could say that it was against the US, mainly in the 4th of July weekend. Maybe it's intentional, maybe it's to create more anxiety, it brings more results. The victims were in many countries, but the main area of attack was the US. And the ransomware demands also surfaced all about the way to a few millions of dollars. And the impact of this attack is that what happened is, because it was a supply chain, what the user did, Kaseya was a control system for many customers. So this control system that gave endpoint update services could have been used to deploy software legitimately. Now the attackers were able to get on the Kaseya, use vulnerabilities in the Kaseya, and then attack the same set of customers by a very sophisticated attack that actually took use of bypassing the Microsoft antivirus and evading all kinds of protections that you may have as whitelist, etc. And at the end, they drop file on the customer side that was used to do the ransomware. What could you do to protect against it is because I believe that everything has to be much more secure than it is today. You start with the endpoint security protection, endpoint security in prevention mode, EDR services. There are anti-ransomware attacks that help you secure ransom, but the attack doesn't actually start with ransomware. It starts with hygiene of all the environment of the data. And obviously there are the ways that you just back up the data. It's good if it's only encryption, but not if it's double extortion. The second example I wanted to touch base on, it's the colonial pipeline. Here, the importance of the attack is that it actually halted an operation after the ransomware attack. So the main impact here is that 45% of the fuel consumed in the East Coast came through this pipeline. And because of this attack, which was also motivated by financial targeting critical infrastructure to increase the gain, it was the stop of all the pipeline operation. The ransomware paid $5 million, and the attack was associated to the dark side responsibility, which is, again, ransomware as a service. And what they do, they develop ransomware tools. They sell them to partners so that the partners could perform the attack, and it's actually financial driven. So the company itself does R&D and partner on the delivery. And the actual attack here is carried by a partner of this organization. In this case, the stages of the ransomware didn't end with the payment, but there was a lot of effort to recover some of the payment. And actually 67% of the Bitcoins paid were recovered by a lot of effort of some officials in the US. How to protect against it? Obviously, we could start from where we ended before, things like data backup, recovery, but then we have to move to hygiene and security, update, patching, invest in cybersecurity awareness, do all the tools that keep your network safe, network segmentation, multi-factor authentication, deploying specifically tools to prevent ransomware attacks, and we hygiene, disable hyperlinks in received mail, make sure that you know what you're doing. The last example I give because of the high ransomware payment, it's the JBS meat supplier. I'm sure many in the audience know about him. Processed 20% of the North America meat supply was attacked again by the R-Evil group. We said already it's a kind of financial gain. It was very short near the colonial pipe attack, and the same impact. Plants were shut down. The operational was disruptive and prevented supply to the world. And actually, here the example shows the important thing is the time took from the start to the end of the attack. JBS decided to pay. The payment was in order to retain and recover the operations. And here the White House got involved in delivering some message about responsible state. So there is financial aspect, but also nation state aspect. So I think we should all think about how we secure ourselves better, how we secure the whole environment, how we secure against ransomware specific with ransomware, but how we create hygiene such as preventing malicious attachment, downloading 0 days, but also preventing attacks on the whole surface, because the ransomware doesn't attack just the ransomware. It starts by another attack, so inspecting traffic, blocking infected machines, and also you have to be prepared with an incident response after. Thank you very much.
Thank you.